Hey everyone, and welcome back. Josh the Ginger Marketer here. I've managed to scale my coaching business, my high ticket business, to over $1 million through video marketing. And what I do here is I share all of the insights and the strategies that I've used so that you can use them within your high ticket business as well. So in today's video, what I want to be sharing with you is how you can get your next 5 to 10 plus high ticket clients all through video content. And this can be 5 to 10 plus clients in the next 16 weeks through video marketing. Now, when it comes to creating video content, you need to understand there's certain elements that come into this, and I want to share the exact 3 pillars that I run through with every single one of my clients, the exact 3 pillars that I always go to every single day within my content that has allowed me to sign over 300 plus clients into my high ticket coaching program as well. So when it comes to the actual 3 pillars, the first thing that you need to understand is that when you are creating content, when you're putting out content there's a certain type of person that you are looking to attract. Now, if you're brand new, you may not know who that exact person is. So what I always like to tell people is when it comes to fixing a problem, try and think about the biggest problem that you yourself would have had 3 years, maybe 5 years ago. Because ultimately, when it comes to creating any offers, or if you're here, you've probably got an offer already, you'll know that person that you're looking to solve for, you're talking mostly through your own personal experiences of what it is that you solve for as well. When I look back at one of the biggest mistakes that I made is that I was creating lots of different offers at the start, which weren't really linked to what it is that I was actually interested in talking about, and I couldn't speak firsthand to the actual experiences that I had when I was going through those exact challenges as well. And which is what now, when I'm looking at my offer, what I really target is high ticket business owners, because I myself am a high ticket business owners, and really fixing up the lead gen and also fixing up the call booking as well, making sure that when you're booking calls, you get consistent lead flow, but also when you're booking in calls, you're only getting calls in with people who are qualified, because I know that the problems that come with that is that if you don't have enough leads, you're not signing enough clients, you're relying on referrals, which isn't consistent, it isn't predictable. When you're getting on sales calls, even though if you do have a good lead flow, you find that those people that are getting onto those sales calls, they can't afford you, they're not a good fit. So you need to understand that when you are speaking in your messaging, when you are creating that content, you need to be speaking to the exact problems. You need to be speaking to the desires. You need to be speaking to the fears and maybe the myths and the misconceptions or the limiting beliefs that your ideal audience has. So for example, if you're here now and you know that you're getting some leads come in, but what you're finding is they're not the right leads. So when you're having conversations with them, when you're sending out emails to them, when you're putting out posts and you're engaging with them, you know that they aren't really a good fit. They're not the right avatar. They're not maybe at the right point in their life or their business. They don't feel ready to invest. And that all comes down to your messaging, because if your messaging is off, you're always going to be speaking to the wrong person, and you're always going to feel stuck in terms of actually getting on calls with the right type of people. I remember when I used to take a lot of sales calls, and I'm talking 5 to 8 sales calls every single day, and I had a fairly decent close rate, 20 to 30%, but I knew that I was wasting so much time being on calls with people who weren't ever going to pay me my high ticket prices. They always come up with mistakes like, now's not the right time, I don't think this will work for me. There was a lot of fear. And as soon as I fixed up my marketing messaging, as soon as I really dialed down who is it that I'm trying to speak to, what is it the problem they've got, but also what is that desire that they want to get to, and how does that problem show up in their life? There's tons of questions and tons of worksheets that you can go through, and I'll put this into other videos as well in terms of actually finding that dream avatar. As soon as I started switching up that messaging and speaking to a $10,000 problem, I found that a lot more people were reaching out to me, a lot more people were actually wanting help as well. And for here, what I like to call it, that I use, is what's called my everyday content method. So in terms of fixing up your marketing messaging, if you've already got dream clients that you're working with, premium clients that have paid you 5 figures, 6 figures plus, what you'll notice is that they've got a unique set of problems, they've got unique questions, they've got frustrations, they've got challenges. So if you are looking to attract more of the premium paying clients that you currently work with, the best thing that you can do is use what I call my everyday content method. It's where you're taking their challenges, their frustrations, their questions, their goals, and you're actually turning that into content. And using the framework that I use in terms of my simple daily content formula, it's showing people what you're working on. It's giving them assets that you've created for your clients. It's also sharing things that you're working on. It's also teaching your audience along the way as well, but not teaching them too much where you're overly educating and friend zoning, but you're creating insights to shift their perspectives and shifts their belief and make them see you as that go-to. So the first one to really get clear on, if you are looking to sign those 5 to 10 plus new high ticket clients, is really make sure that your marketing messaging is on point. And the biggest red flag as to when it's not is that the people that you're getting into your CRM, into your email list, into DM conversations or onto calls, or people may be following and engaging on your content, if you go to their profiles and you're able to, and you notice that they're not your ideal client, that means that you've got broken marketing messaging. And that means that everything that comes from that, when it comes to sales calls, that's going to not work as efficiently as you want it to because the marketing is off. So first is fixing up that marketing messaging, attract the right audience, get clear on who that ideal client is, that expensive problem that you can solve for, and create content around that. The second, when it comes to the acquisition here, it's understanding that video content is going to be what separates you from everyone else. When you're going to stand out if you're in a very busy niche, there's lots of people, for example, coaches, there's going to be some indicators that you're going to almost be competing with a lot of other people. And I've found in my experience, after trying lots of different funnels, call booking funnels, Facebook group funnels, webinar funnels, there's tons of different ways, but I found the most powerful funnel is to pair short form video content with long form video content, and to also promote that, but also send that to your email list as well. So when, for example, how it looks like is building out an actual video content strategy that works for you, which is evergreen and that's going to consistently only bring in pre-sold prospects into your calls. For context, I used to close about 30% of my sales calls, and now I'm closing anywhere from 60 to 70% because I've adopted a video content strategy, which I'll go into more detail here, where I'm using TikTok to nurture people, to attract people as well. So for context, as I record this now, I've got 800,000 plus followers. So that's where you can get a lot of attention. That's where you can get a lot of eyeballs on you. And the more eyeballs that you get to know you, the more likely it is that you're able to get more people to see what it is that you offer and increase your visibility and chances of people actually booking in a call. At the core level, when it comes to why you're not making the amount of money that you want to be making in your high ticket business at the moment, there's 4 core problems here. 1, people don't know who you are. 2, people don't know what it is that you do. 3, you're not making enough offers. And 4, you're not making enough offers consistently. So having a TikTok strategy, which is short form, could also be used on Reels, could also be used on Shorts. I speak through TikTok because that's where I've built nearly 1 million followers, garnered billions of views and helped a majority of my clients. But a lot of my clients that have taken what I've taught them on TikTok and they've gone and applied the same strategy on Instagram and still been able to sign high ticket clients through short form video as well. But when it comes to selling high ticket, you need to understand that people, if they wanted to pay you 1,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, 30,000 plus, sometimes words aren't enough and sometimes short form isn't enough, because ultimately when we use a lot of short form content, especially on the like of TikTok or Reels, they are about an 8-second attention span. So it's a lot harder to keep people for longer and for them to really binge watch and nurture you. So this is where you need to look at longer form content to be able to really nurture those relationships, get people watching you, get people seeing you, and get people listening. So for example, here as you watch this is on YouTube. If you're also listening, there's also a podcast available as well so that people can listen to it. And the more that you can invest your own time into a person, or more people can invest more of their time into you, the more likely they are to convert. Especially when you pair this with really showcasing who you are, what it is that you do, pairing those 2 things, your processes, your offer, your personality, your own personal story and your origin story in transformation as well, that's what gets a lot of prospects pre-sold. And then when you can pair it with a very simple call booking strategy, which I'm going to go on to next, it's a lot easier to not only get more people into your world to know who you are and what it is that you do, but it's a lot easier for you to then automatically convert them into sales calls, but let your marketing do about 90% of the selling. The reason why my close rate is so high is because most of the time people have binge watched hours of my YouTube content. They've been seeing a lot of my TikTok videos as well, and it's often that people may not have to be in my world for months, weeks, years. Some could just enter, find me in a day, binge watch a lot of my content, and then in a few hours, they could be booking in a call and signing up within 24, 48 hours. So it reduces a lot of the sales cycle. And it also reduces a lot of the friction, a lot of the objection handling, a lot of the hours that are spent on sales calls with people who are never going to close anyway. I get a very high no-show, a very high rate of people showing up, so very low no-show. And I also get a very high close rate because, again, people have binge watched. Now, when you pair this with daily email, where you send daily emails to your list, this is where you're sharing your YouTube content, you're sharing your TikTok content, but also maybe writing some teachings or sharing what it is that you currently work on as well. And then you make an offer. It allows you to have one-on-one communication with a lot of people, whereas you don't want to ever be at the mercy of algorithms. You don't ever want to be on an app where you're having to rent an audience rather than own an audience. Because if something happened to that app, you will no longer be able to get all those followers back. Which is why it's very important that not only are you generating leads, and me and my clients, we do this through strategic lead magnets where we're giving assets that link to our offer that only gets the right type of clients into our email list. But we also use email as a daily nurture tool where we're actually resharing a lot of the content we're putting out there because we know that the algorithm isn't going to show it to everyone. But we're also regularly making offers for people to work with us. And that solves that problem of not enough people know who you are, not enough people know what it is that you do, you're not making enough offers, and you're not making enough offers consistently. Now, when it comes to the actual call booking, a lot of this is evergreen, a lot of this is organic, and it will book in 5 to 10 plus sales calls every single week with pre-sold prospects. But when it comes to bolting onto that, one thing that I work on with a lot of my clients is actually teaching them, and I teach this and I follow this strategy. It's actually having manual conversations with new content engagers, new followers, hand raisers for any give posts, for example. And it's then turning those content engagers and new followers into booked calls, because ultimately every notification is the chance and the opportunity to have a conversation. And then it's being human. It's reaching out to them. Hey, saw you. Thanks for the follow. Are you here to X or X? Hey man, appreciate the like. Just starting a conversation and then going to a very simple question-based qualification before offering to book a call if they're a good fit increases the likelihood that you can get on calls with people who are a good fit. But it means that there is some predictability there because, as we know, algorithms can be unpredictable in nature. One week you could get 20 sales calls booked in organically from YouTube or TikTok, and the next week you may only get 5 or 10. So having it paired with a DM strategy, it does add that element of predictability and consistency as well. And I did this with a recent client. So one of my recent clients come to me, they were posting on TikTok and they were averaging maybe about 1 to 2 calls a week. But what they found is that over the space of about a month, they were only really signing one of those people. And it wasn't that they were a bad closer. It wasn't that they had a really bad offer. It was just that the people they were getting on calls weren't a good fit for them. So whatever they tried, offering a low ticket workshop, they even tried doing DM selling, they just were met with more and more frustration. And that was simply because the first thing was broken, which was their marketing messaging. They were a finance specialist. They were looking to help people better understand and better manage their finances. So what we did is we really looked closer at what were the biggest problems that people have with their finances. And we noticed that a lot of people are losing a lot of money. They don't know how to properly budget. They don't know how to actually spend a lot of their money effectively or what they need to invest in as well. And we calculated that that is one of the biggest challenges. So we worked out a content plan and a content strategy to really address some of those challenges, but also the future state in terms of the desires that a lot of people had. In turn, this led to booking 5 to 10 average sales calls, I would say, every single week. And she was able to convert 50% of those into actual calls, into actual closers as well. And she bolted on an extra 30,000 into her business after only 4 weeks by not only just doing TikTok, but we also added YouTube into the mix as well, where we got her creating 2 YouTube videos where she just went deeper on some of the topics that she spoke about in her TikTok videos. These didn't take her long to do. Each video was 15 minutes in length, And that really took her about an hour a week to record those TikTok videos and to upload them. No fancy editing. She didn't need to be, have an editor in a different country that was doing it. She just recorded like I am now, if you're watching this on YouTube, talking into the camera and sharing some of her methods and her success stories here as well. And that was she able to then send out to her email list, and she was able to get those calls booked in, but also reshare some of that content on her TikTok, and people were booking in from that as well. So it's a very simple strategy. It's what I call the video funnel. And this is how I'm able to get 5 to 10 plus high ticket clients in my coaching program every 16 weeks. And also how I'm able to do this for a lot of my clients as well. Now, if you're interested in more about how you can get 5 to 10 plus high ticket clients in the next 16 weeks through video content, I invite you to click the link below, book in a call with me. I'm more than happy to discuss and break down how this could look like in your business. And I will catch you in the next one.